Nikasita, nikaangalia majina yote, nilitaka kusema I'm fine, lakini sauti ikanigoma. Kijani cha macho yako kimebaki moyoni mwangu, nikipumua kwa nguvu nasikia nimeshika hewa, na kila nikikimbia rudi karibu zaidi. Nataka kuamini, lakini roho inani.
Yes, peace and love, wonderful BlackHotfire family. Thank you so much for joining us on this particular episode of the Sunday Swahili classes for the weekend. I do hope that you're doing fantastic. And I want to say once again, karibuni sana to this particular show where we get to connect together and we get to learn Swahili as a family right here on the BlackHotfire. Yesterday we did have a wonderful class. We were learning about the vowels and the consonants, and today is no different. We shall continue with our learning, and I really hope that we shall keep it interactive as well as engaging. So therefore, feel free to ask any question at any particular point. You can interject and ask a question, and I will be more than happy to respond to your question. At the start of the class, we do get to introduce with a song, and the name of the song is Sielewi. Sielewi simply means I do not understand, and that is a lady who says that she does not understand the affairs of the heart, because sometimes she thinks the way she thinks the outcome would be, it does not turn out to be exactly the same. My name is Spikes, and if you are introducing yourself in Swahili, you would actually just say Jina langu ni Spikes, or you can actually say Hamjambo. To hello to a group of people, and once you say hello to the group of people, you would say Hamjambo, Jina langu ni Spikes, which is hello, my name is. If your name is Alex or Mary, or your name is maybe Constantine, or your name is Jane or Elizabeth, whatever your name would be, you can just place it there, say Jina langu ni Elizabeth, or Jina langu ni Mary, or Jina langu ni Alex, or Jina langu ni George. That is a simple, very, very simple way of getting to introduce yourself. And I do see reparation 9910. You're asking how do you say reparative, eco-friendly, agriculture, United Al-Kebulan, Africa in Swahili? That is actually a very, very long question. But I want to talk about the environment. You talk about, you say, when talking about the environment, you say mazingira. Mazingira bora is mazingira. Mazingira is for the environment. Environment. So if you're talking about a clean environment, you would say mazingira safi, because safi simply means clean. Safi means clean. Therefore, you might say mazingira safi. You might say mazingira safi. Mazingira safi. Mazingira safi to mean a clean environment. Clean environment. And but if you're talking about agriculture itself, there are two ways you can refer to that. You can say ukulima or zara, agriculture. You can say ukulima or zara. So therefore, if you're talking about eco-friendly agriculture, you would say ukulima unawatunza mazingira, which is farming that is eco-friendly or thoughtful of our environment. So you might say ukulima unawatunza mazingira, because mazingira is the environment. And if you're talking about an eco-friendly kind of farming, then that is exactly how you would say it, and it is not even difficult. It is actually very, very simple. So how are you doing? How is the weekend coming up? I hope it is coming up just fine. Mine is pretty well. I cannot complain, but nonetheless, I always do say that keep it interactive. Let us know where you're tuning from. I would love to know where you're tuning from. And at the end of it, I would also like to give you a very, very big shout out for joining us in class. We do have over 1,500 languages on the African continent, and therefore, if you're looking for a language to learn, I would actually urge you to make it Swahili. Please learn Swahili. You can learn your Swahili with the Duolingo app, which is a very, very friendly app for translations and things like that. You can also refer to some of the classes that you have done right here. There's an archive of classes that you have on this particular YouTube, also on the other YouTube, which is BlackHotfire Africa. And you can find all those particular classes. What you just need to do on your YouTube is search for Saturday Swahili class on BlackHotfire or Sunday Swahili class on BlackHotfire, because you get to learn the Swahili every Saturday and Sunday. And the goal is to get to help you get better. Whether you are a beginner, intermediate level, or you're even a pro, the goal is just to spark your interest in the language and have you learn how to make communication within the language. Swahili is a gateway, or any language is a gateway to the culture. So if you're trying to learn more about the Swahili culture, one of the easiest ways that you can get to do that is by engaging in the learning of the knowledge of the Swahili people, or language of the Swahili people. So welcome once again. We do say karibu sana. If you're telling people to, if you're welcoming people, you simply tell them karibu. You simply tell them karibu. Maybe perhaps you're having some guest. And because you're having a particular guest, you would introduce yourself. So you would say hello to them. For example, there are like 5 guests, there are 5 of them. Then you would tell them Hamjambo. Hamjambo is a hello to a group of people. Hamjambo, which is hello to a group of people. And then when you tell them Hamjambo, you proceed to tell them, to introduce yourself. And you can say, Jina langu ni Spikes, which is, my name is Jina langu. My name, Jina langu ni stands for is. Jina langu ni Spikes. So therefore, that would be my name. That would be my name is Spikes. That is simply how you're introducing yourself, and you're saying, my name is Spikes. That is how you introduce yourself. My name is Spikes. And then you proceed to tell them karibu. Karibu is welcome. Once again, karibu is welcome. But if you want to welcome them so much, then you would say karibu sana, because the sana is for emphasis. It means much or a lot. It means much or a lot. So you would say much welcome, which is karibu sana. That is exactly how you would say it, karibu sana. And it's not even difficult. The more you get to practice, the more you get better. In any language or anything that you're trying to achieve and do, we always do say that practice makes perfect. That is exactly the mantra for our classes. Practice makes perfect. And you might be trying to learn the language with your brothers, your sisters, your colleagues at work, your other family members, your mom, your dad, your daughters, your sons. You're trying to learn with them. So engage with them and make sure that they are learning with you. And that would actually be a wonderful thing, because you can also ask questions, you can give feedback, you can engage with them on different ideas, and you can also learn more about the culture of the Swahili language and the Swahili people through the language itself. So if you have a question, always feel free to interject. If you'd like to get a copy of the notes, you can send an email to blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, and I will be more than glad to share with you the email, the notes, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, africa@gmail.com, and I can send you the notes so that you can get them as well, and you can go through the notes at your own pace. I understand that over the weekends, people are very busy. You might be somewhere up to, checking out on your family, or you're somewhere doing some work that you hadn't completed over the week. So you might be busy when you were doing this particular segment, but you can always watch it later, and you can always catch up with what we are doing a little bit later on. If I raise up my palm like this, remember I give examples of, I use my palm to demonstrate the vowels. And for the vowels, I do see that you have 5 of them represented by my 5 fingers. And yesterday we were learning about these particular 5 vowels. And we did say that we had some focus on 2 of them. We had some focus on 3 of them. But anytime I raise up my palm like this, you can always use the palm to represent, to give or to represent the vowels in Swahili, because it's A, E, O, U. There are 5 of them. But my fingers will not be able to count the consonants. There are many consonants in Swahili, and also what we call the special class of consonants. So we will not be able to cover all that. But nonetheless, it is important to note that Swahili is not difficult. It's very, very easy. And the more you commit your time to learning the language, the easier it becomes for you. Remember, there are resources such as the Duolingo app, which you can actually get to use. And also, you can practice with maybe videos of Swahili films or Swahili songs that have subtitles, Swahili songs that have English subtitles. You can practice with those, and eventually you will be able to get better at your understanding of the language. The consonants, there are many. Yesterday, we were given an example of the special class of consonants, and we did say that the ends with an apostrophe is a special class of consonant that ends with an apostrophe. I gave an example of the word ngombe. If you're talking about ngombe, that is a cow. If you're talking about sengenge, that is barbed wire. If you're talking about ngoa, that is a fruit, and that has the NG with an apostrophe with an O, A. And I gave those particular examples just a way of a recap. Ngoa simply means it means a fruit. It means a fruit. So that is ends with an apostrophe. We also talked about things like chakula. Chakula simply means food. If someone says nipe chakula, nipe is a phrase which means give me. It means give me. It means give me. So therefore, if you're saying give me some food, you would say nipe chakula. If you need just a little bit amount of food, then you would say nipe chakula kidogo. If you're talking about water, you would say nipe maji, and nipe maji is understood to be give me water, nipe maji. So someone might say nipe maji, which is a phrase meaning give me water, which is give me water, give me water. If you're talking about give me food, you would actually say nipe chakula, nipe chakula, which is give me food, give me food. And remember, we have talked about the word which is kidogo. Kidogo simply shows the quantity. Quantity shows a minute quantity. It shows a little bit amount of whatever you're asking for. So if you said maji kidogo, it's understood to be a little water, If you talk about chakula kidogo, then you're talking about just a little food, and those examples are not even difficult. The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and you are able to understand with practice, and you practice, then you become perfect at whatever you're saying or at whatever you are doing through these simple ways of practicing. Apologies. I was just saying that if you're talking about examples, you might look about examples on a platform such as Duolingo app, which is available on an app, or you can also just check out duolingoapp.com. And now once you visit the network, once you visit the app, you can be able to make a few of those particular, you can be able to make a few of those translations from English to Swahili and from Swahili to English. So therefore, if you're looking for a resource, then you can be able to use a Duolingo app, or you can also use the resource of the archives of our classes that we have had. And these are available on YouTube as well. And some of them are also available on Spreaker. If you go to Spreaker.com, you can also search for that, and you will be able to find them on there as well with the same name, Saturday Swahili Class or Sunday Swahili Class on Spreaker. And you can be able to play them back. You can be able to download some of them. You can be able to share some of them. And therefore, it is very, very easy for you to learn and use all those resources that I'm referring to, and they are of great help. So therefore, you can have options. There are many options, but it is also important that when you have an opportunity to be in class and just connect with us, for example, as we are right here, that you also take the opportunity to ask questions so that you can get clarifications. And once you do, you will be able to get better in your understanding of the beautiful language of Swahili. I always keep on saying there are many languages on the continent. There are over 1,500 languages on the continent. And therefore, you can always choose, but I would urge you to choose Swahili. We are back. We are back with the live. Yes, we are back with the live. Apologies. And I was just saying that if you're looking for apps and resources that you can use to learn, you can use the Duolingo app, which is available on our Google Play Store. If you search on your Android, you'll be able to find it. It's available on app. Just search for the Duolingo app, and it can help you make translations, even not just in one language, but in multiple languages. If you're looking for most of these languages, you'll find them right there on our Duolingo app. And it will actually be a very, very good thing for you because you are able to just help, you're able to understand those particular words as they are translated for you on that particular platform. So if you have a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali tafadhali uliza. Remember, if you're talking about requesting for something, you would say nipe or nipatie. Nipatie is like the longer form of nipe. And if you're talking about something as, for example, ninataka, ninataka is also I want. I want. You can say ninataka maji, or ninataka chakula, or ninataka pesa, or ninataka nguo, or ninataka simu. Whatever you want, you might say ninataka, and that is understood to be I want. And if you're a bit more polite, you can say ningependa. Ningependa is a little bit more polite, and it is understood to be I would like. I would like ningependa unisaidia na maji kidogo. So that would be I would like you to help me with a little bit of water. Remember, I did say that the word kidogo means in a small amount. So therefore, if you're talking about chakula kidogo, that would be a little bit of food. If you're talking about maji kidogo, then that would be a little bit of water. If you're talking about pesa kidogo, then that would be a little bit of money. Whatever you do put, you do say kidogo to after, then that means a little bit amount of that. So if you're talking about maybe whatever you're measuring, that is actually a very quantitative word. It shows a quantity, but the quantity in a small amount. If you're talking about much, you would say mingi, M-I-N-G-I. Mingi is the opposite of kidogo. So for example, if you're talking about a lot of food, then you would say nipe chakula mingi, which is give me a lot of food. If you're talking about water, you would say nipe maji mingi, which means give me a lot of water. So whatever you're requesting for, or whatever you're asking for, you can say mingi, or you can also add kidogo, and either of them, it represents mingi is a lot, that is for a lot, and kidogo is just for little, and therefore it is represented in that regard.
Sema grupu ya kwa muda ya huko kweli, yani kwa muda wana huko ama maju mara gani maju hai tamuleto mebe sabasa ya nolisha adire tekere Seguro. Yeah.
Shikorini agwa ile kwa 11.
Si wengi walikuwa wanasema hiyo.
Sheka ya wana kukaza hiyo.
Kama ndio shamuli. Kaka director unge.
Wada kuma na wasiwasi humo.
Sana.
Mwana ngori. Welcome back. And now viewers, if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to if you're trying to learn the language, you can always engage with us, and I also can send you a copy of the notes. And the copy of the notes are available. You can send an email, which is to BlackHotfireAfrica@gmail.com, and I will be more than glad to share with you those particular notes. Does anyone have a question? If you don't have a question, we shall take a short break and enjoy this music. This is actually a song known as Tangu Zamani, and Tangu Zamani simply means from a long time ago. This is a jam. Let me know if you like the song or what your thoughts are about this particular song, and we shall be right back.
Nilikukuta pale, moyo ukasema, hata bila sauti, najua ni wewe. Ukiangalia mimi, dunia inacheza. Kila tabasamu lako linanifanya niongee. Ulivyo una nuru ya ndani na mimi nikakwama, nikakupenda ghafla. Moyo ulijua kabla ya macho, kuna mahali petu pa milele kabisa. Tangu siku ile sijaweza kusahau. Kila nikifunga macho na kuwaza tu you and me, ni wazi kabisa Mungu alituchora kwa sababu moja. Nilikupenda tangu zamani, mahaba yangu kwako ni ya thamani. Vile Mungu katuumba tuwe pamoja, tangu zamani. Nilikupenda tangu zamani, you're the one, my love, my darling. Vile ulivyo Mungu katuumba tuwe pamoja, tangu zamani. Ukinishika mkono naona kesho, kama barua nzuri iliyoandikwa pole. Sio leo tu, ni safari ya roho. Tulivyopangwa sote, si bahati ya mchezo.
Yes, that is the name of the jam. It's Tangu Zamani, and I was saying that Zamani simply means a long time ago, and therefore, if someone is talking about a new from a long time ago, they would say Mekujua Tangu Zamani, which is Tangu Zamani is from a long time ago. And that is a wonderful, wonderful jam by the one and only Trinity. So if you're looking for the music, it's available on YouTube as well. And I was saying that I really get to find some of the songs that are done in Swahili, but they have English subtitles. They can also help you learn your language. They can also help you learn the language very, very easy. And it is not difficult. You only have to keep on practicing. And even at the end of the day, you get better at your knowledge of the language. And yesterday, like I did say, we were learning about vowels and consonants. And for today, we should want to focus a little bit on asking questions and how you do get to ask for different things in Swahili. And that is therefore how you get to phrase questions and how they get to sound in Swahili. So questions will often come up in conversations, either in inquiring about a thing or making a request in a conversation. So the intonation when asking language in Swahili, like any other language, of course, has a difference. And I raise notation at the end of the question as expressed in asking using the 4 common Swahili words. The number 1 word which you get to ask is who, which is nani. In Swahili, it is translated into nani. For example, nani amekwambia. Nani amekwambia nani amekwambia, that is who is a phrase meaning who told you, who told you. So if you're talking about nani amekwambia, you would say who told you, you say who told you, because nani translates into who. So therefore nani amekwambia, then that would be who told you. You can have also, for example, in another different example, you might say nani alikuwa hapa, nani alikuwa hapa, which the question would be who was here, who was here. Nani alikuwa hapa, that would be who was here. And you might also say nani alikupigia simu, that would be who called you, who called you. Nani alikupigia simu, who gave you a call, nani alikupigia simu. But if you're talking about where, you're asking about the question for, place, where, we do say wapi. For example, someone might ask you, je, unaenda wapi? Je, unaenda wapi? Simply is where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? If someone is asking you, tunapatana wapi? Then that would be where are we meeting? Tunapatana wapi? Then that would be where are we meeting? Because wapi simply is the word for where. Someone might also ask, mlipatana wapi naye? Then that would be where did you two meet each other? Where did you two meet each other? And you might also ask, where did you lose your money? Where did you lose your money? And that would be ulipoteza pesa wapi? Ulipoteza pesa yako wapi? So the WAPI, it simply means where, wapi. But if you're asking about time, and maybe perhaps you want to know when shall we meet, you would say lini, tutapatana lini. Tutapatana lini is where, when will you meet? When will we meet? Tutapatana lini is when will we meet, which is different from tutapatana wapi. Tutapatana wapi is where will we meet, because that is wapi. But tutapatana lini, it means when will we meet. And someone might also want to inquire about how did such a thing happen, and they would ask, je, jambo lile lilitendeka vipi? Lilitendeka vipi is how did it happen. Lilitendeka vipi is how did it happen. Or you might ask, nitapika chakula vipi? Then that would be how will I cook the food. How will I cook the food? Or nitafika pale vipi? Then that would be how will I get there. Or you can say nitafika pale aje, and aje or vipi, it is used to represent how. If you're talking about what will I wear, what, then that would be nini, N-I-N-I, which is different from who for nani. So what is nini? You would say unataka nini. If someone is asking unataka nini simply is what do you want. It is simply what do you want. And nini, like once again, it is nini is for what. It is for what. So therefore, if someone says unataka nini, if someone says unataka nini, if someone says unataka nini, that will be what do you want. If someone is asking nikupatie nini is what can I give you. What can I give you? Nikupatie nini. Then what, that is what can I give you. What can I give you? Or if someone is asking what can I tell you, that would be nikuambie nini. Nikuambie nini, because nini simply means what can I tell, what can I tell you, what can I tell you. So remember, for what you do say nini, but for who we do say nani. For who we do say nani. If someone is asking unataka kuongea na nani, if someone is asking unataka kuongea na nani, it means who do you want to speak with? Who do you want to speak with, or who do you want to speak to? So therefore, nani, it represents who. Nani, it represents who. And it is not difficult. Let's keep on repeating that. It is not difficult. The more you practice your Swahili, the better you get at it. The more you practice your Swahili, the better you get at it. Every other time that you reflect on some of these particular words and you utter them and you keep on repeating them, and then your utterance also gets on improving. So therefore, if you're talking about questions, that is how you simply ask questions in Swahili. Remember, for who translates into nani. So for example, if someone is asking unataka nani, it means who do you want. Unatafuta nani is who are you looking for. Unatafuta nani. And if someone is asking you who told you, then that would be
Nani aliyekwambia? Nani aliyekwambia? But if you're talking about what do you want? What translates into nini. So therefore, if someone is asking you, what do you want? This example number 5 here, what do you want? Then that would be unataka nini. So there's a difference between nini and nani. There's a difference between nini and nani. So nani means what, and nini means what, and nani means who. So using a few examples here, like we have these particular examples here, you might say mkona nani. Mkona nani, then that will be who are you with. Mkona nani, then that will be who are you with. But if you're asking about wapi, wapi is where. If someone is asking you uko wapi is where are you, because wapi translates to where. Someone might say where are you. If you're asking about lini, then that will be when, and that is how people get to ask about when. If someone wants to know when you return, they will ask utarudi lini or utakuja lini. Utakuja lini simply is when will you come. Utakuja lini, so lini translates into when. Lini simply translates into when. Lini translates into when. So someone will ask you, je, utakuja lini? Je, utakuja lini? Utakuja lini, then that will be when will you come, because lini translates into when. If someone wants to ask you utanilipa lini, then that will be the lini is for when. The lini is for when. So do not confuse nani and nini, because nini is for what and nani is for who. So you need to make a distinction over those two particular words in Swahili, and they are not even difficult. Questions are the best way to ask questions is by using those few words. Lini is for when, nini is for what, lini is for when, and what. You have some of those few examples, and you can always ask questions using those few examples, and they are quite easy to understand, and that is the way you get to ask those particular questions. If someone is asking about how, you would say vipi. For example, nitamwambia nitafika Nairobi vipi, or nitafika this and that vipi. Vipi translates into how. Vipi, it translates into how. It translates into how. So therefore, nitamwelekeza vipi. Nitamwelekeza vipi is how would I direct them. Nitamwelekeza vipi, how would I direct them. So vipi is for vipi is simply for how. That is how you get to ask vipi, nitafanya vipi or nitasema vipi. It becomes very easy if you get to practice these particular words, and that is how you ask questions. And when you're asking questions in Swahili, there is a cue for asking, for starting those particular questions. You do find the syllable J. The syllable J, it cues the start of a question. So for example, if someone is asking, when will you return? Utarudi lini? But they would have to say at the start of their question, J, utarudi lini, because JE is a syllable, and it means it cues the start of a question. So J, utarudi lini? J, unaenda wapi? Unaenda wapi is simply for where are you going. Mnaenda wapi, that would be for where are you going, but for a group. So therefore you would have the consonant at the start of that, then that would be mnaenda wapi. Takula nini, then that would be what will you eat when you're asking a group of people, because that is the second person plural, So you might ask mnaenda wapi, for where are you guys going. Mnakula nini, for what are you guys eating. And that would be a very easy way of getting to just getting to know and inquire more. Or if someone says utakula nini, you're at a restaurant or you're at a cafe or you're at a diner, wherever you might be at, and they ask je utakula nini, they are asking what will you eat. Je utakula nini, je, cue that. Je utakula nini, utakula nini, then that will be what will you eat. What will you eat? And that is a question to one particular person, one individual. But if you are many individuals, then that waiter or waitress, they would ask je mtakula nini, because you are many, mtakula nini, and that is what will you eat. The same question but for a group of individuals, and that is the way you get to ask, and it's not even difficult. I always keep on saying you need to practice. Practice makes perfect, and once you do practice, then at the end of the day you are able to get better in your knowledge of Swahili. If you have any question, please ask. I will be more than glad to answer to your question. And these are more examples. If someone is asking you umefanya vipi, umefanya vipi simply is a question asking you how did you do it. Umefanya vipi, or how have you done it. So vipi is for how. But if you're asking for what? So for example, someone asks nini kilichokuleta hapa, nini kilichokuleta hapa, then that would be what brings you here, because nini translates into what. So that is also, you can also cue this particular question with the syllable J, and that would be J, nini kilichokuleta hapa, that will be still what brings you here. If someone is asking you utakula tunda gani, utakula tunda gani, utakula tunda gani is which fruit will you eat, because when you talk about which, you have a couple of options, and they're asking which option do you want to pick, which it becomes EP, which it becomes EP. So therefore, if you're asking utachukua kalamu gani, utachukua kalamu gani, EP or gani, actually you can say EP or gani. So utachukua kalamu gani, then or utachukua kalamu EP, then that is understood to be what pen will you pick, what pen will you pick, and therefore in this regard, which translates into gani, or it translates into ipi. Someone might ask utakula tunda gani is which fruit will you have, utachukua kalamu gani is which pen will you pick, unataka fulana gani, maybe you're talking about a cardigan, they want to know which cardigan or sweater you want to pick, so then that would be which, and that it would be ipi or gani. Unataka fulana gani, unataka kofia gani. Kofia is also like a cap. If you do have one like this, you say unataka kofia gani. So gani or ipi, it is understood to be, maybe perhaps you're at a market, you're buying caps, and someone is asking which one will you have, then they would say utachukua gani or utachukua ipi. Chukua is to take, chukua is to take, chukua is to take, chukua means take. So if someone says utachukua gani, u is the second person singular, then utachukua gani, then u is the second person singular, the ta is for the tense marker for the future, and then chukua is the verb, the root verb for take. So therefore, if someone says utachukua gani, they are simply asking which one will you take, which one will you take. Utachukua gani, utachukua gani, utachukua gani is a phrase asking which one will you take, which one will you take, which one will you take. And you can answer nitachukua ile nyeusi. Remember, we have learned about colors on the BlackHotfire. So if you're talking about colors and someone says nitachukua ile nyeusi, nyeusi is simply it means black. Nitachukua ile nyeusi, it simply means I will take the black one. If you're talking about a color, then you would say nitachukua ile nyeupe. Nyeupe is for white. Nyeupe is for white. So someone might say nitachukua ile nyeupe, which is I want to take the white one. Or someone might say nitachukua ile nyekundu, nitachukua ile nyekundu, nitachukua ile nyekundu, which is I will take the red one. I will take the I'll pick the red one. We'll take the red one. Because if you're talking about red, we do say nyekundu for red. Nyekundu is for red. Nyeusi is for black. Nyeupe is for white. If you're talking about green, we do say kijani kibichi. Kijani kibichi. If you're talking about blue, you would say samawati for blue. If you're talking about orange, you might still say achungwa. If you're talking about brown, you would say hudhurungi. For brown, you would say hudhurungi for brown, hudhurungi for brown. And therefore, those are some of the examples, and that is how you get to refer to colors. If someone is asking which one will you pick, utachukua gani, or utachagua. Chagua means to pick. Utachagua gani. Chagua means to pick. Chagua it means to pick. Chagua it means to pick. Utachagua gani. Utachagua gani. If someone says utachagua gani, they are asking which one will you pick, because chagua it means to pick. So therefore, someone might say, Je, utachagua gani? Je, utachagua gani? and therefore you might respond and say nitachagua nyeusi, which is I'll pick the black one. Nitachagua nyekundu, which is I'll pick the red one. Nitachagua ya hudhurungi, which is and I'll pick the brown one. And we were talking about colors. We do say rangi, which is for colors. Rangi, which is for colors or for color. You know, for color or colors, it does not change. Rangi, in its singular, it's a color. Sorry, it's the color in its singular, it's a rangi, and color in its plural, it still remains to be rangi. So it does not change. So you might say nitachukua ya rangi ya kijani kibichi, which is I will take the green one. Or you might say nitachukua ya rangi ya hudhurungi, which is I will take the brown one. Or nitachukua ya rangi nyeusi, which is I'll take the black color one. Or nitachukua ya rangi nyeupe, which is I will take the white color one. So that is how you might say it. Maybe you might be in the market and you want to buy. They're asking you, je, utanunua gani? If someone is asking you, je, utanunua gani, they simply are asking, which one will you buy? So, je, utanunua gani, utanunua gani, they are asking, which one will you buy? Which one will you buy? Which one will you buy? And it's not difficult. That is just the way you do get to respond, and it is not any difficult. You simply get to respond with the name of the colors. It might be black, it might be red, it might be blue, it might be green. Whatever color you want to respond with, you can just simply respond with the name of the colors. And those are the colors that I've just mentioned to you. There are so many more. You might be talking about violet, you might be talking about gray, you might be talking about whatever other color that you want to mention. You can be asked rangi gani. If someone is asking you which color, then that would be which color. Rangi gani, that would be which color, that would be rangi gani. Then simply, that is just a question asking which color that you want. So if you have a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. We just learn how you ask questions in Swahili, and I've said you can use the syllable je to part of a question. Je, utakula nini? If someone is asking je, utakula nini, they are simply asking what will you eat. Nini is what, and these are some of the examples that I was sharing on the screen here, and that is simply how you get to ask questions. So for what we do say nini. So therefore, if someone is asking utakula nini, you might respond nitakula chakula kidogo, or nitakula mchele, nitakula ugali, nitakula whatever mukimo, nitakula chapati. You can give different answers over different cuisines or foods that you might want to eat. So someone might ask, je, utakula nini? So utakula nini is simply the phrase utakula. Utakula nini is simply the phrase for what will you eat. What will you eat? What will you eat? Remember, when we were talking about the vowels yesterday, we said that you have 5 vowels. E, I, O, U. Those are the 5 vowels. And for the 5 vowels, we didn't have the vowel U. And we said for the vowel U, the Swahili vowel U is the English letter U. So the vowel U, you might say, the vowel U also represents the second person, which is you, the second person singular. So U, it points to you. So you might say utakula nini, utakula nini. For the U, the vowel U, points to you. And then you have ta. Let me just put it down as share it on. It is on the screen so that I can break this down. So this is the U. The vowel U represents the second person singular. So you might be talking about utakula nini, unaenda wapi, unalala wapi, unataka nini. All those things, if they start with U, they are pointing to you, the second person singular. So U points to you, the self, the person. Then the ta points to, the ta is actually a tense marker for the future tense. The ta is a tense marker for the future tense. So we have the U, the vowel U, then the syllable ta. The ta is a tense marker for the future tense. And then kula is a root verb which means eat. Kula is simply the root verb which means eat. So utakula, that is what you will eat. You will eat. And nini is what. Nini simply means, so what will you eat? When you translate that, it becomes utakula nini, what will you eat? but you can also add the syllable J at the start of the question so that it signals the start of a question. You might say, J, utakula nini? J, utakula nini? And the person might respond, ni. Now, ni, this is also another part of Swahili. The ni points to self. The ni points to self. I would say, ni takula ugali. Ugali, popular delicacy, almost a staple food in Kenya. So therefore, you might say, ni takula. The ni, the answer to that would be, you might say, ni takula, ni takula ugali. Then that would be the answer, which is, I will eat ugali. Then that would be the answer for that. And it is not even difficult. It becomes very, very easy. Some of the examples that you can use when you're trying to ask questions, and they are very easy. I did say if you're asking about who, then you would say nani. If you're asking about where, then you would actually say wapi. If you're asking about which, you would say gani, or you might also say ipi. and it is not difficult to understand some of those particular ones. If you do have a question, please ask. You can ask at any particular point. You can interject and ask a question. And if you're also asking about how will I get there, you might ask nitafika pale vipi. So, or you might say nitafika pale aje. Between those two, you can pick and say nitafika pale vipi. And this is how you get to ask. If you're asking about nitafika pale lini, then that would be when will I reach there. And the lini is for when. The lini is actually for when. And if someone is asking nitafika pale lini, then that becomes when will I get there? When will I get there? And it's not any difficult. You only need to keep on practice, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes for you. And also with practice, I think you can also engage with your friends or with your family or with your colleagues, anyone, because language is a mode of communication or a tool of communication. And when you're learning something, you're communicating with someone else. When you're learning the language, you're communicating with someone. So it is always important that you get to have someone that you can learn the language with. It is always important that you have someone that you can learn it with. And it is also important that you also engage other people in your journey of learning the Swahili language. There are many languages on the continent, over 2,000 languages. And if you go to a place like Nigeria, there are many of them. If you go to Cameroon, about 150. If you go to Ethiopia, about 81. If you go to Rwanda, about 3 of them. So if you combine all these different languages, then it becomes very, very difficult for you to catch up with what people are saying. And I always do say that with your interest in learning the language, you can be able to do much more when you get to engage with friends and family and other colleagues to help you in your learning or your understanding of the language. If you have a question, feel free at any particular point to ask a question. I will be more than glad to respond to you. Do you have any question? For example, if someone is asking utakula nini, they simply mean what will you eat? It is on the screen. If someone is asking you what will you eat, then you would say je utakula nini. And I'll say, and you might answer them and tell them nitakula ugali. And if you say nitakula ugali, ugali is a staple food here in Kenya. So someone might say nitakula ugali, which is actually a staple food. I will eat ugali. I will eat ugali. Now will be what I will eat. I will eat ugali. So let me break this down, which is I will eat. Let me see if I do see it here. Yes, let me break it down. So what it means, the ni is actually points to self. It points to the first person singular. The ni points to the first person singular. The ta is a tense marker, which is a prefix for the root verb. It is a tense marker for the future tense. So the ta, it means in the future, I will eat in the future. The kula, the K-U-L-A, that is a root verb for eating. So if someone says kula ugali, it means eat ugali. If someone says I will, then that will nita, and then the root verb is kula, nitakula, then I will eat ugali. That is simply how you get to explain it, and it is not even difficult. So if someone is asking you at the diner and or you're at the cafe and they're asking what do you have, you might say takula chapati. Chapati is also a very, very common food in Kenya. So you might also say takula chapati, and it is not difficult. I do think the more you practice, the easier it becomes for you, and you need to do a whole lot of practice for you to be able to internalize and remember some of those particular words. But for the syllable ni, please remember it is for the first person singular. Ni. But if you're talking about for the first person plural, we are many, then you say two. The syllable two is four. So if someone wants to say tu takula, then that would be tu takula, then that would be tu takula, then that would be we will eat. So for the first person plural, then that would be we shall eat ugali. Someone said tutakula ugali, and they might say kesho is tomorrow. So tutakula ugali kesho. Kesho simply means tomorrow. It means tomorrow. And if someone says tutakula ugali leo jioni, it means we shall eat ugali this evening. Leo jioni, leo is for today. Leo is for today. So if someone says leo jioni, they are simply talking about today. Later in the evening. Today, later this evening. Leo jioni. Might be today, even this evening. You might say leo jioni tutakula ugali. Then that would be this evening we shall have ugali. Ugali, some people have this to ugali and say that it lacks taste. But anyway, that is a matter for discussion. But nonetheless, it's a very, very staple food, which is corn. When once corn is milled into fine powder flour, then you put the fine corn flour into boiling water, and then you stir, and then you fix it into a nice shape, which is the ugali that we are talking about right here. Nonetheless, thank you so much for being with us. This is a BlackHotfire Network. Remember, you can visit the official network website, which is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. If you have been there or you haven't been there, please make sure that you sign up on the network website so that you can get the notifications, and you can get to find out what is happening with the world, because there's a whole lot of things. These days, the world is moving pretty fast, and news, there is constant news of things going on. You can find out what is going on with Black American news, USA news. You can find out what is going on with the business and economy. You can find out what is going on with entertainment. You can find out what is going on with international news and sports. You can also find out what is going on with technology. We also do have business and economy in Africa, business opinion in Africa, politics in Africa. So you are able to stay in the loop and find out what is going on with the world around you, and even the world beyond. The network is actually based in the home, in the motherland, Africa, and also in the US as well. So this is a platform where you can get to connect. And now we also do say iron sharpens iron, and it is important that you also get to connect with the rest of the people there, and also sharpen your knowledge on different matters. It might be economic, it might be political, it might be technological, whatsoever your interest might be, even cultural. You're able to connect and have a wonderful, wonderful time just learning and connecting with the rest of the people. So does anyone has a question? Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. Tafadhali means please. So tafadhali means please. Tafadhali means please. Tafadhali uliza. If you do have a question, please ask. There is also a Swahili trivia. I can send the trivia to those interested. And the trivia is not difficult. The trivia is not difficult. I can send to you the trivia if you're interested. So just email blackhootfireafrica@gmail.com, blackhootfireafrica@gmail.com, and I will be more than glad to share that with you. Thank you so much for being with us. I do hope that you have a wonderful week ahead. Remember, you can always connect with us and drop us a line on email, or also on our social media platforms. And that would actually be a wonderful, wonderful thing for you to do. So if anyone has a question, tafadhali Lisa, if you have a question, please ask. I'm happy and glad to respond to your question. It might have to do with anything, and therefore I would be happy to respond to you in any regard. And if you do have a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. So please ask. Uliza is ask. Uliza simply means ask. It simply means ask. Uliza, it simply means ask. So someone says tafadhali uliza, it means please ask. And if you're talking about what you want, you say ninataka, which is for I want. You simply say ninataka, and that is understood to be I want. You simply say ninataka. So you might say ninataka ugali, then that would be I want ugali. If you say ninataka pesa, then I want money. If you say ninataka nguo, it means I want clothing, all fashion. If you're talking about ninataka kitabu, it means I want a book. So someone says unataka nini. Someone says unataka nini. Remember, nini is for what? Nini is for what? Just a recap of what we have just learned. Nini is for what? So if someone says unataka nini, they're asking what do you want? And you might say ninataka pesa is I want money. Ninataka maji is I want water. Ninataka chakula, which is I want food. Ninataka gari, which is I want a car. So whatsoever you want, you say ninataka this or that, and it is not any difficult. So do you have a question? If you have a question, please ask. If you do have a question, please ask. When I say unataka nini, it understood to be what do you want. That would be what do you want? What do you want? So if you do have any particular questions, I will be more than happy to respond via BlackHotfireAfrica@gmail, BlackHotfireAfrica@gmail.com. You can write to me regarding anything that you have learned today or yesterday. Remember, yesterday we were learning about the vowels and the consonants. For today, we have pushed a little bit further. We're learning about questions and how you get to ask questions and how you respond to some of these particular questions. That is what has been our focus for today. So feel free, ask any question. I'm happy to respond. If you do have a question, please ask. Tafadhali uliza. If not, then I would actually bid you adios. In Swahili, we normally do say kwaheri, but I would not like to go without responding to anyone with a question. Please ask. There are many languages on the continent. Once again, I repeat, there are over 1,500 languages, close to 2,000 languages. And they are interesting because you get to learn different things through interacting with different languages, because the language is a gateway to the culture. So you might happen to discover things that you do not know about, just basically by just learning the language. And not just discovering, but also connecting. You are able to connect with the people much easier when you are able to understand their language. You connect the people much easier. You are able to conduct business with people when you understand their language. So it is a language of business. Even for leisure, if you go to Zanzibar or Tanzania or Rwanda or Kenya or Mombasa, wherever you want to go, and you have an understanding of some bit of Swahili, it helps you become much better at that. And no one can actually confuse you over anything. You'll not be getting special deals. You'll actually just be getting something for what it's worth, because you are able to communicate with the people with their native language. So it becomes even much better. It's a plus for you. Someone might be asking, why do we need to learn Swahili? Because it helps ease your connection with the people and also reconnect with your roots. That is two important things as to why we are actually passionate about teaching Swahili on this particular platform. That is why we are actually very passionate about teaching Swahili. And as always, we do love and appreciate your company right here on the platform. If you have a question, once again, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. If you do not have a question, please head over to the network website, which is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. My name is Spikes. If I want to introduce myself in Swahili, I would say jina langu ni Spikes. If I were to introduce myself in Swahili, I would say jina langu ni Spikes. And I might ask, je, wewe, or wewe je, which is how about you? And you might tell me, jina langu ni Mary kutoka Dallas. You might say, my name is Mary from Dallas. Or you might say, jina langu ni Alex kutoka Senegal. That might be, my name is Alex from Senegal. So if someone is asking you about your name, you might ask, jina lako nani? Jina lako nani? Jina lako nani is what's your name. Jina lako nani is what's your name. Because remember, we've talked about nani, and we have said that nani is what. So jina lako nani, that happens to be what is your name. Jina lako nani then happens to be what is your name. So if someone is asking you unaenda wapi, then that happens to be where are you going. Unaenda wapi, where are you going? And you might say ninaelekea mjini, which is I'm going to the city. Ninaelekea mjini, which is I am going to the city. But someone might say hujambo. Hujambo is hello in Swahili, and hello to one individual is hujambo. But if it's hello to many individuals, then you would say hamjambo. Hamjambo. You send hello to a group of people, then you might say hamjambo, hambo. Someone might say hamzamoni nyote, which is hello to everyone. Hamjambo nyote, which is hello to everyone. And they might respond and say hatujambo, hatujambo. But if it's one individual, you simply say hujambo to them, and they respond sijambo. That is to one individual. They respond and say sijambo. But if it's too many, then they respond and say hatujambo. And if you just got their attention, after saying hamjambo, then you can proceed to make your case. You would say, jina langu ni Spikes, which is my name is Spikes. Nina furaha kuwa hapa siku ya leo, and I'm happy to be here today. Tunaweza endelea na shughuli ya leo. We can continue with today's business. That is how you would say it. And just make sure that you have some icebreakers, it's casual, and you're conversing depending on the context of where you are and what you guys are up to. Then you can actually continue the conversation in that regard. But hamjambo is hello to a group of people. And if you're asking to one individual, you say hujambo. And if you might say hujambo to them, which is hello, you might also proceed to say habari yako. Habari yako is how are you. That is to one individual, habari yako. If you're saying how are you to many people, you would say habari yenu. Yenu is for many. So habari yenu, then that would be how are you to a group of people. So hamjambo, that is hello to a group of people. Habari yenu, then that would be habari yenu is how are you siku ya leo. Siku ya leo is today. Siku ya leo is today. Habari yenu siku ya leo, and that would be, how are you today? How are you today? They might respond and say nzuri, they might respond and say salama, they might respond and say njema. There's so many ways of responding to that. But nonetheless, thank you so much for your company and being with us already on this particular platform. Every Saturday and Sunday, we get to connect and we get to learn Swahili together as a family. Like I was saying, we do have many ways in which you can engage with us. You can engage with us by asking questions or sending an email, and that way we are able to connect together right here on this particular platform. So if there is no question, I think we shall leave it there, but you can feel free to write an email, BlackHotfireAfrica@gmail.com. So much peace and love. I would actually love to say kwaheri, which is goodbye. But nonetheless, if you have a question, let's still take your questions. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and ask. You can type it on the comment section. So any question that you have, please ask. You can ask any question, and I will be more than glad to respond to your question. I was just saying that if you're asking a question, you might say, unaitwa nani, which is, what is your name? Or you might say, jina lako nani, which is, what is your name? That is, both mean the same thing. Jina lako nani, what is your name? Or unaitwa nani, which is, what is your name? And if someone is asking unaitwa nani, you might say, ninaitwa Spikes, which is my name is Spikes. Someone might say naitwa James, which is my name is James. Someone might say jina langu ni Alex, which is my name is Alex. And there are simple ways to actually introduce yourself, and there are simple ways of actually just getting to make some icebreaker and have people know who you are. And you might say nimetoka. Nimetoka simply means I come from. Nimetoka, it simply means I come from. So you say nimetoka Marekani, it means I come from America. If someone says nimetoka Uingereza, it means I come from England. If someone says nimetoka Afrika Kusini, it simply means they're coming from South Africa. If someone says they are coming from nimetoka Rwanda, it means they're coming from Rwanda. Wherever they might be coming from, that is a simpler way of how they get to say it. And it is not any difficult. You just need to keep on engaging the language and learning more about the language simply by also having that sense of curiosity. The more curious you are, a language needs some sense of curiosity and intense interest, because if you're intensely interested in that, then it means you'll follow up and you'll be able to learn more about the language and connect more with the people. If anyone has a question, you can drop it in the comment section. If you also have a comment, it doesn't have to be a question, it can also be a comment, or you can just let us know where you're tuning from. That is also another way. You can drop a comment, let us know where you're tuning from and how is your experience? How has your experience been with Swahili so far? Are you loving the language? Is it difficult? You just need to use your palm like this. Remember the 5 vowels, and also from the 5 vowels, remember that you and I, the vowel O is very, very important. The vowel R is very important. The vowel E is also very, very important. And that is what we were demonstrating yesterday. From these 5 fingers, you have the vowel R, E, O, the 5 vowels. And yesterday we were explaining why the 3 vowels are O and E are very important. Also the others are important. But yesterday we had a class and we were getting to run or to explain or break it down, those particular vowels. And it was actually an interesting time. So if you missed the class from yesterday, just check it out, or just refer to this particular channel, Saturday Swahili class from yesterday, about 24 hours ago, and you'll find it. And if you get to listen or watch the video, then you will be able to catch up with what we were saying and why it is that those particular vowels are very, very important. And please also engage with us. Let us know where you're tuning from. Let us know how it is going on for you. It will be very, very quite interesting. My name is Spikes. Like I did say, I was ready to take your questions. If you didn't have any questions regarding how you ask questions or regarding how the vowels are like and the consonants, I'm ready to take those questions. If not, we shall catch up next weekend, Saturday, same time, same place, right here on this particular channel. Please share this video with your friends. You can share it with your colleagues. You can share it with whomever you want to share it with that might be interested in learning the language, or you might think it will pique their interest in learning the language, so that we are more. We do say the more the merrier. And when it comes to languages, it is very, very important that you also get to engage with other people. Some years back, that was around 2019, the BlackHotfire network was very active with organizing tours to the continent, to the motherland. So in 2019, we had, I think, 1 or 2 tours. In 2020, that was way before COVID. Before COVID, we also did have tours. And we did connect. We did have the brother G Man, the sister
Apologies, I had a bit of a hitch with the connectivity, but nonetheless, I just want to say thank you for being with us. I was just giving a story that in 2019, the network used to organize tours and trips, and you were able to see and connect to the culture firsthand. Going to Tanzania. I'm not sure why Keith disembarked on that, but nonetheless, if you have an opportunity to travel and get to know more about the motherland, with your knowledge of Swahili, your experience would actually be much enriched, and you'll be able to be in a better position in terms of connecting the people, doing trade, doing commerce. If you're there for leisure, also just enjoying yourself and also getting to learn more about the people, because at the end of the day, it's about connecting and it's about bonding. And also it's about uniting with the people, because when you are united, you are able to build with the people. And if you're able to communicate with their native language, then that becomes much, much better. And you are able to even achieve more through these meaningful connections that you make through the Swahili language. So that is why we have chosen to teach Swahili over many other languages. We do have over close to 2,000 languages on the continent, but we have chosen Swahili because it is most prolific and it is easy to learn. So if you do have a question, please ask. If not, much peace and love. Till next time, I would like to say kwaheri ya kuonana. And kwaheri ya kuonana simply means goodbye, see you later. That is me bidding you adios. But if you do have a question, you can ask. If not, I want to actually urge you to visit the network website. It's www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Much peace and love. Till next time, on say kwaheri. Amani na upendo. It's peace and love. Take care of yourselves in the next coming week. I wish you happy new week and also productivity in your endeavors. Actually, everything that you pursue to do, please make sure you do it with utmost positivity and enthusiasm, and the results will actually show. My name is Specs. Jina langu ni Specs. Niko na furaha kufunza Kiswahili. I'm happy to teach you Swahili. Na natumai tutaonana muda mwingine. I do hope that we shall link up again next time. Till next time, much peace and love. Peace.